So, one of the things that I've heard you talking about recently, which I thought was fascinating, was the idea of foreshaping the future.
Foreshaping.
Mm.
Yeah, do you want me to talk about it?
Yeah.
So I think we're in a really weird moment in time where, well, I guess slightly complex because once you get your head around that we're in this new industrial revolution, Industry 5.0, I think there's a real weird moment in time where everybody's kind of working out where to go and what to do. And I read a stat a few years ago now, I forget, but it was something like 98% of the C-suite currently don't know which direction to go in. So is it about technology?
Yeah.
Is it about artificial intelligence? You know, what are we doing? And as a result, everyone's replanning their strategy. But I think the door's wide open for people to be more bold and actually be looking at industries and sectors and saying, you know, let's stop reading trend reports. You know, someone sends me hundreds of trend reports every year and they're all saying the same thing, and it's just churn year on year. I think those days are over. I also think, as much as you know, we can talk about foresight, and I think it's bigger than that, which is why I call it foreshape. Actually, I think there's a lot of opportunity for a lot of companies and brands and agencies to actually be more bold and actually work out. Maybe it's collectively, I call that co-opetition, whereby you know, groups of industries coming together and going, actually, we need to work on this because that's the future. Because I think if not, we're just going to drift like we did in, you know, digital transformation was a little bit like this, which you know, digital transformation was what, a 12-15 year journey to get where we needed to be, and everybody was watching for what, you know, what's my competitor doing, or maybe I should be doing that. Or I think it's very different in this industrial revolution, because actually where we are with AI right now is we're already halfway through that same period. So from an adoption point of view,
it's so much faster.
It's moving like, if digital transformation took 15 years, in 18 months we've done 7 years worth of transformation in AI. So actually, there's no scope to sort of sit there and go, okay, what's so and so doing about you know, their AI journey? Well, they're just winging it. Everyone's just winging it,
exactly.
aren't they? You know?
I often call it navel gazing. You know, when people sort of like approach strategy and sort of 5-year roadmaps and this idea that everything, you know, we just need to think about things for X amount of time. I think, to your point around just how quickly this industrial revolution is actually going, we need a whole new way of working. And I think, did we learn some of this in COVID? Maybe. When all of a sudden, you know, things that retailers would have said would have taken them 5-10 years to put in action, it took them 5 minutes because they had to.
Yeah, there was a great stat there where we did in 2022, we did 6 years of digital transformation in 6 months.
Yeah, because it needs must. And then we learnt a new way of working, and I think, you know, some people have gone back to the old, but some people are learning that actually being more nimble, being faster, being quicker to prototype things, to fail fast, or sometimes people call it, is actually the way forward. And I think I personally, in the role of forecasting and strategy, love that idea that you actually put the foot on the gas and you go for some of these ideas, because actually a lot of it's about timing. And I think, you know, you can watch a lot of clients miss a boat.
I map it on, I've showed you this, but the technological sort of S-curve, change curve, whereby we're almost 3/4 into that change curve now. And
which, when we started talking about it, we were like right at the beginning.
We were early adopters. We were really lucky. But there's, within that change curve, there's like a chasm of doom, they call it, which a lot of people get stuck in, that chasm of doom. So it's like, you know, oh, do I chase that trend? Do I chase that technology? But there's no trends to chase anymore. It's actually, you've got to kind of set your own direction. So when you look at something like AI adoption, most major organisations now do not have a plan. Right? But what they're doing is allowing employees to use large language models like ChatGPT. So all their processes are moving onto people's phones, and in the future it's going to cause a problem. So two things will happen. One, we're going to have a massive shadow IT project problem. But the second, and I think the most worrying thing for most organisations, is that I think we're only 6 to 12 months away to hitting that laggard element of the curve. So actually, lots of companies are going to be really behind the curve, and I think it'll be the demise of a lot of businesses that don't adopt what they need to adopt now.
I think probably the next 12 months is the most critical 12 months of most companies. In that respect.
But that's not to say there's massive positives in that too, because embracing that transformation can unlock really exciting things and be really transformative. So I actually find it, as scary as it is, I actually find it really exciting too.
So I would agree. So if you think about kind of various industries and different players within various industries, actually is what we're living in right now an opportunity for maybe some of those that were always like behind
get ahead,
to leap ahead, because
100%.
Actually it's that level playing field moment. A little bit like what we did see in the pandemic, and it's like a leveler of everyone.
100%.
And then it's where you go, forget history, where do you go now?
They can go there really quickly.
For me, if I was a corporate, if I was sitting as a brand, a retailer in industry right now, I would totally see that as the opportunity.